Side row number 3 getting set to come to green.
Pace car drops it to pit road in turn 4. It is Baldwin and Priest to the green. Turn 4, we are underway. The Tour Type Modifieds at the World Series of New Smyrna. And it's Ryan Priest leading the field to 2.
And you saw Ronnie Williams give him a shot just as they got into that start zone. Ronnie Williams was anxious, ready to get going, and you can see why. That 20, Paulie Hartwig III on the charge here on lap number 1.
You mentioned anxious. We saw him using the nose a little bit there down the backstretch, trying to push forward as we go on board with Ryan Priest. Hartwig to the inside lane. Can you imagine being a 14-year-old kid making your first World Series start, and you're racing with a NASCAR Cup driver and a winner of the Clash on the outside, and you're following a Baldwin?
And not just racing with, but passing. Look at that. Paulie Hartwig III taking over that position from Ryan Priest.
Williams to the inside lane, running in the 4th position, tries to get back outside. The NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour 2025 champion Austin Beers is out there. Had a decent start to his week with a top 5 and podium run on Saturday night in the national race. And there's Williams running the bottom lane. Here's Beers fighting back to the outside. Williams and Beers racing for the 4th spot. The field slowing in turn number 3. Look out, a couple of cars coming together in the 3rd corner. They continued on. Nobody crashed. The spin in the yellow comes out for the 7 of Rich Parker. Caution was for Rich Parker. The spin in turn 4 set for the restart with Luke Baldwin leading in the 7 New York car. Paulie Hartwig on the inside making his first Tour Type Modified start. Baldwin a good start in turn 4. Back underway at New Smyrna.
Oh, we got some contact back in the pack. Cars are sideways. Blewett's going to get loose and tag the inside wall, and that's going to put us right back under caution.
Could have been a lot worse. It looked like it was going to be both wheels the inside.
Everybody at the front of the field realigned in the positions they were in prior to that attempt at that restart. We'll get back to the restart zone and see how it goes for Luke Baldwin. He's on the hammer. Another clean restart for the 7 New York, but just an equal restart there for Paulie Hartwig III, and he's going to stick the nose out front down into turn 1.
Blewett back out on the racetrack to join the field, lets the field go by, and then gets up to speed. And the new leader is the 14-year-old making his first Tour Type Modified start. Paulie Hartwig at the front of the field has passed Luke Baldwin.
How about that? 4 laps into his World Series career in a Tour Type Modified. Paulie Hartwig is your leader, but he's got some pretty serious heat. Luke Baldwin all over that back bumper bar as there's a gaggle of cars behind off into turn 3.
8 kids up front. All you have to worry about is Ryan Priest, who's in 3rd, and Austin Beers, who's in 4th. Williams running the outside lane in the battle with Beers right now.
And oh, by the way, Ronnie Silk's lurking back there as well. You've got some of the top names in all of Tour Type Modified racing all over the back bumper bars of those cars. But right now, Adam, I think these 2 youngsters are going to try to keep it to themselves here tonight.
What you love are some of the kids that come onto the scene. We've seen so many good veteran drivers. Beers on the inside lane, the 50 of Williams on the outside. A little bit of a bump there on the back straightaway. On the front stretch for Beers and Williams. You see Silk, top qualifier, peeking to the outside. Silk on the outside lane, making the run and gets around him out the line. So Beers drops back into line now, was caught on the inside. They'll now go nose to tail.
Field going to kind of string out here at the front. There's Austin Beers in that 179 car. He's had some really solid runs in that number 179 in addition to the family-owned car that he drives on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. And right now, I think some of these drivers just kind of happy to log some laps. Let's get some laps under our belts, get some temperature in these tires, and let's get to the end to where we can start racing. And right now, there's Ronnie Williams. He's got Ronnie Silk behind him. Austin Beers in line. A couple of Catalano cars in tow as well. 10 laps in the books. Still 50 yet to run.
The experience that Paulie Hartwig has been able to pick up over the last year, moving up from 602 Modifieds into Tour Type Modifieds last season, and then coming here to the World Series and racing for the first time at the World Series in a 602. And then in a Tour Type Modified here tonight, leading the field, Baldwin, Priest, Williams, Silk rounding out the top 5, laps ticking off, waiting to see how these cars do on a long green flag run. First time we'll see that this week, starting here on a Monday night.
Paulie Hartwig starting to build a little bit of an advantage over Luke Baldwin there. Giving him 5 car lengths through the center of turns 3 and 4. That 20 car, the Jerry Gradle Racing entry, looking really stout here in the early going. Hartwig stretched it out. Luke Baldwin trying to keep him in sight.
Williams and Silk. 5th and 6th. Rich Parker is not leading. Timing and scoring has Parker as leading. He was a spin earlier. They probably had to add a lap to his timing and scoring, and it put him at the top of the list. Ryan Preece started on the front row in the outside lane, fell back to 3rd where he runs now, but he's starting to get racy. I think he may pounce soon on Baldwin for that number 2 spot.
That's exactly what Preece did last week to win the Clash, the Cookout Clash down at Bowman Gray Stadium. Kind of bided his time in the early going, and when it was go time with about 50 to go, Preece went to the front. Perhaps that strategy in place here tonight as well.
Hardwick putting some distance on Baldwin, but Preece isn't pouncing yet. 60 laps, not the short distance affair that we may have used to have with 35 lappers. He went to 50 a couple of years ago for the shortest distance affair, and now we've added 10 more, so maybe a little bit of patience being shown over these first 20 laps or so. Ryan Preece running in the 3rd spot, seeing if he can close the gap again on the 7 of Baldwin. Preece making a couple of tour type modified starts this week, Bob.
And he's excited about that. Obviously, he's won races down here. But what's interesting is when you come here to Tour Type Modified Racing, there's some different engine combinations. There's the open motor. It's got a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more giddy up off the corner. Well, in that car for the 40, he actually has what they call a spec engine from Robert Yates Engines. Maybe a little less horsepower, but it'll be interesting to see if Preece can go toe-to-toe with the rest of the competition and these open engines as Silky gets by Williams.
Good stuff for Preece, and Silk right behind him in the 16, running in the 4th spot. 20 laps down, 40 laps to go. Austin Beers running just outside of the top 5 in the 6th position. Been nose to tail for quite a while now. Racing was furious over the first handful of laps, but for the last 15 or so, patience being shown, no one really pressing the issue. We know it's a long week, but I think we will see it here soon. Again, Preece starting to close the gap again on Luke Baldwin for the number 2 spot.
Meanwhile, Paulie Hartwig III continuing to stretch it out inch by inch, foot by foot. That advantage growing. Now 0.6 of a second over this battle for second between Luke Baldwin, Ryan Preece, and Ronnie Silk. Baldwin in that 7 New York, maybe holding up that train just a touch as we approach the midway point.
Yeah, he's backed up to 3rd and 4th now, and Preece is ready to peak low, looking inside, going to turn 3. Baldwin giving him room. Now Preece will pull alongside. Close quarters coming off of turn 4. Baldwin gives him room, keeps it up against the wall. Turn 1 and 2. Do they go up the track a little bit? Pretty good run for Preece still. Loses that momentum in the 1st and 2nd corner as Baldwin held a pretty good lane off the 2nd turn.
So I think that onboard camera that we have on the 40 car probably gives the best perspective of what it's like to sit inside of one of these race cars. I've never done it personally, but it lets you know just how close the tires on that car to your left side are. You have to have a lot of trust. Right now, Luke Baldwin, Ryan Preece giving each other a lot of trust and a lot of respect out there as they battle inches apart for the 2nd position with 35 laps yet to go. Here comes Ronnie Silk making a 3-way battle for that 2nd spot.
Some sparks flying up off the brakes as he goes down into turn 1, and now he makes the run coming off of turn 2, going after Ryan Preece for the 3rd position to the inside, but Preece's car looks strong up in the 2nd lane, gets a great run off of turn 4. He's in a little bit of defense mode as well as offense. Back on the offense, peeking to the inside of Baldwin for 2nd.
It's interesting. One lap he will be up to the outside lane. The next lap he's going to be down to the inside. He's making that inside groove work right now. Let's see if Baldwin can defend on the top side. He doesn't want to give that spot up, but I think he may have to cede that position right here. Luke Baldwin going to give up 2nd to Ryan Preece. Now he's got his hands full with Ronnie Silk there in the number 16.
And for Preece, he hopes that Baldwin stays there in the third spot for a couple of laps to give him some breathing room, with Silk, who's on the charge as well, started 6th up to 4th as the top qualifier. We talked about cars and long run speed. We know that the 20 car of Paulie Hartwig had short run speed, qualified 2nd. Obviously pretty good on this mid-range run. Halfway this time, 30 down, 30 to go, and Hartwig has a pretty big lead built up.
1.5 seconds the last couple of laps. If you were looking at Ronnie Silk as he came off of turn 4 right there, you can see the white gloves kind of make a little small wheel correction. Silk really pushing that race car right now, and maybe slipped it just a little bit. Don't know how many times you want to slip those tires on these long distance races. Got to keep those tires underneath these race cars to get to lap 60 here tonight.
I think Silk will be just fine, but I don't know if anybody at this point has anything for Hartwig. His lead is big. It's about a half straightaway over Ryan Preece right now. 28 laps to go. Preece running 2nd. Silk has made the move on Luke Baldwin for 3rd. Baldwin Williams rounding out the top 5. The 50 of Ronnie Williams, we talk about his short run speed, his qualifying ability right now, still in the top 5 in the race, Bob.
And the interesting thing for Ronnie Williams, I saw him right in the middle of that last practice session for the modifieds, and he said, you know what, I think we're okay. We don't need to go back out. They thought their car was very good in that first practice session, so they really didn't do a lot in that latter practice session. But Ronnie Williams said, man, I've been coming down here for a long time, and I really want to grab that victory, and he's hoping to do it this week. So far, so good. 5th place for Ronnie Williams.
Absolutely. Williams inside the top 5. Watching Silk and Preece. That battle has led to a position change as Ron Silk has moved up into 2nd. And Ryan Preece has dropped to 3rd. So Silk, we'll see what kind of laps he's turning. 1.9 seconds behind the leader last time, still 1.9. In fact, lost a little bit to the leader, Paulie Hartwig. And here's Austin Beers on the charge, trying to move past Luke Baldwin. This is for the 4th position. Williams has dropped outside of the top 5, so Beers is ready to go now. He picked up the spot from Williams, going after Baldwin now.
Good battles all throughout the top 5 and even throughout the top 10 here as Austin Beers looking at the inside of Luke Baldwin, putting the nose down there, just trying to get out of that rearview mirror just a touch. Beers, the reigning NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series champion. And he's going to again sneak to the inside of Luke Baldwin. This is the battle now. 4th and 5th up for grabs down the backstretch. Baldwin's been up in that high groove quite a bit here tonight, but he's not quite able to keep some of these cars that are able to handle down on the bottom side of the racetrack, not able to keep those cars behind him. He's going to give up that spot to Austin Beers. So move Beers up into the top 4, and now Luke Baldwin back into 5th.
I think Baldwin feels better in that outside lane, maybe struggling a little bit down on the bottom, keeping his momentum up in that 2nd groove. You see how much he gave up coming off of turn 4, where he lost a lot of ground, using those brakes pretty hard. Front rotors glowing on the number 7 of Baldwin as Beers starts to get away, who's moved up into 4th. Williams trying to track down the 7th. New York again.
Now, if you were with us on Saturday night, you watched Jade Abadizian in the super late model race open up about a 2-second advantage over Dawson Sutton, and Dawson eventually whittled it away down to about a 5-car length lead with a couple of laps to go. Well, we saw Paulie Hartwig open up about a 2-second advantage over that battle for 2nd between Ronnie Silk and Ryan Preece. Well, now that Silk has broken away from Ryan Preece, that advantage, which was right at 2 seconds, now 1.4 seconds. The question is, does Ronnie Silk have enough time? 18 laps, make it 17 this time. Does he have enough time to reel in Paulie Hartwig at the front of the field?
Well, I think he has enough time. In fact, he took another 0.2 or so off that time by, so he is closing quickly on the leader. There is the leader, Paulie Hartwig, leading the way. His first World Series start in a Tour Type Modified. The 16 of Ron Silk running in 2nd. The gap down another 10th. He's picking up at least a 10th per lap right now on the leader.
even as he is working through traffic, he is able to close that gap on Paulie Hartwig. The question that you have to ask, maybe Hartwig overextended those tires early in the going to build up that big advantage. And of course, a seasoned veteran like Ronnie Silk knows how to get those tires to the end.
There was some patience definitely being shown by some of the drivers in the top 5. The run has been impressive for Hartwig, being able to build up that big lead. Silk has a little more left in the tank. They are the top 2 qualifiers from today's qualifying session. They've come from 5th and 6th in the starting lineup to 1st and 2nd. They get around Connor Jones, who's doing triple duty this week with Tour Type Modified, Super Late models, and Pro Late models. Later tonight, he'll be running the Pro Late model in a 60-lap feature where he was top qualifier earlier today. You watch Paulie Hartwig leading the way in this Tour Type Modified event. 12 laps to go at the line. The lead is less than a second. It was .882 last time. This time at the stripe, .893 because he had to work some traffic that lap. So Hartwig was able to gain a little bit back. But now clear racetrack between Silk and Hartwig.
And if you look out the front windshield of the 20 car, there's that big pack of cars right there. 4 cars directly in front of this pending battle for the lead. We'll see how quickly and efficiently Paulie Hartwig is able to navigate this lap traffic. This could help decide the race right here, Adam. If he's able to get through this traffic and help build a little advantage, that could be just what he needs. Ooh, a little squirrely there off of turn 4.
And that's going to bunch him up and put him side by side right in front of the leader, Hartwig. He's trying to be patient, but he knows that Silk is coming. Right now, he is being held up. The Blewett car moves over to the outside. There is a nice move by Hartwig to get to the bottom, but now Silk is held up as well.
Oh.
This might end up paying off for Hartwig here. 9 laps to go. He gets through some of the traffic, but now it's Silk who has to battle through the traffic, and he's got cars side by side right in front of him.
And that's exactly what Paulie Hartwig wanted to see right there. A couple of cars side by side on quarter entry. That's going to hold Ronnie Silk up just a touch. He had closed the gap to under a half a second. Now it's about 3/4 of a second as we see a very nervous dad. There's Paulie Hartwig Jr. anxiously watching what is going on the racetrack. And the caution flag is out. And this is going to change everything.
Goodale on the 46 was way free coming off of 4 a couple of laps ago, right in front of the leader Hartwig. It can hold off the veteran Ron Silk, the World Series on the first night for the Tour Type Modifieds this week.
You can tell Silk a little anxious. He wants to get going here. He knows he's got himself a good race car. Need a good clean restart for the 20 car, and that's exactly what he gets. Hartwig with the jump down into turn 1.
Heck of a restart for Hartwig. Silk will fight back to the outside. He has Beers looking low. Beers moves up into the 3rd spot. Here comes Baldwin along. Outside lane is Priest. He got a little bump from the 7 of Baldwin on the inside. 8 laps to go. Hartwig leads Silk.
Now catching and passing are 2 entirely different things. Ronnie Silk is there. He's got 8 laps to find a way around as we've got cars scattering all over the place back in the field.
Oh, Bertuccio went down to the flat of the racetrack, and that usually results in shooting up the banking, and he did as he was working on Williams for the 6th position. He takes it away. Fortunately, they didn't crash. Bertuccio on his way toward the front, having a good run right now, and he's followed by Kopsic, who started toward the back of the field.
Kopsic was scheduled to start on the front row. He was sent to the tail for taping off in qualifying. That is against the rules, so he had to go to the tail of the field. A very fast race car. He has worked his way up into the top 10.
Going to be 5 laps to go. We watch the battle here. 6th, 7th, and 8th on the screen. Kopsic inside lane. Williams running the high side. Bertuccio just ahead of him outside of the top 5, where Baldwin holds the 5th spot.
Ralph Miller holding out a full fist of hands. 5 laps to go for this battle for the lead. There is Paulie Hartwig III in the 20. Ronnie Silk, the seasoned veteran, in the 16, trying to find a way around. Coming to 4 to go this time around. Silk is there. Can he find a way to get past young Paulie Hartwig III?
Laps clicking off fast, and Hartwig protecting right against the bottom in 1 and 2. A lot of times you'll see him about a lane off the bottom, but right now not wanting to allow that inside lane to open up to give Silk a chance, and his car is hooked up. Right now with 3 to go, can the youngster hold off Silk? So far, holding a pretty wheel at the front of the field.
Silk is 1 car length, make it 2 car lengths back down the backstretch. Is he just biding his time? We have seen it in the past. These drivers not afraid to use that bumper bar on the front of these cars to help open up a lane. 2 to go that time around. Ralph Miller with the signal. 2 more trips around here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Looks good down through 1 and 2 again. Silk backs up by a car length or 2. Not sure that he has enough to catch him. Gets it free going in as he gave it his all in turn 4. That time sideways was Silk. White flag waving at New Smyrna.
Paulie Hartwig stretching the advantage out 3 car lengths down into turn 1. Final time down the backstretch. Hartwig stretching the advantage even more. He's clean into turns 3 and 4. Paulie Hartwig about to make some history of his own. Hartwig wins it here at New Smyrna.
14-year-old Paulie Hartwig III in his first World Series start for the Tour Type Modifieds ends up in victory lane. Bob?
Emotional time down here for the Hartwig family. Mama, you were praying, you were hoping, you're crying. What are you feeling?
I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. I don't even know what to say. I love him so much. He just amazes me every time. I don't know. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Congratulations to the entire Hartwig family. They're going to victory lane.
Love it. Great interview with Mom.
That is fantastic. What the World Series is all about right there. You could see the energy. Not that he is not a low energy guy.
To victory lane.
This is an emotional time for this family. Blood, sweat, and tears have gone into the development of young Paulie Hartwig III. And now he wins at the World Series at New Smyrna. Look at this celebration. Dad and son. The entire team. His mom is there as well. Just taking in the moment. This is a big one. He won with the Smart Modified Tour at the famed Hickory Motor Speedway last year, his first Tour Type Modified win. But to win in the shadows of Daytona during Florida Speed Weeks at the World Series at New Smyrna Speedway is special for a family like the Hartwigs. Trust me, I grew up in a modified family. This is a special place. And today, at just 14 years old, Paulie Hartwig gets the job done in a Tour Type Modified here at New Smyrna. What does it mean to you?
Man, new starting from 5th would be pretty tough, and I got out to a pretty big lead there, and I thought I burnt it up for a second, and when that caution came out, I was so upset, man. It was so frustrating, coming in here leading with only 10 to go with a half a track, and it sucks getting the yellow with 10 to go. Lining up on the front row with Lon Silk, and we lit him up pretty good on that ice last restart. So, this is a dream come true, man. It's really cool to win here, and winning yesterday with the Sigma 2 and now the Tour Mod, and it's pretty damn cool.
Your mom was crying at the end of the race. Your dad retired last year to put the effort on you. So getting the job done here, what does it mean to the family?
It means a lot. With all the fans here, how much we struggle. Brand new car, we built it 2 months ago. It was a 2 months span. Man, I got to thank Jerry Gradle, man. And, Jerry Gradle gave me a really fast car today. And, with him doing how much stuff he does, it's crazy, And I got to thank all my family, my mom, my dad, CJ, Lil Wayne, Bobby, my pop-up, Godfrey there, Joey, Critter, Maddie, Pop-Pop, everybody. My spotter, Brad, I forgot to thank him yesterday. So, I got no sponsors on this car, so I got to think what to say here. Ace&O Landscaping, professional therapist, Jersey Shore Contract, Velocity, LaJoy Seeds, Morgantini Race Engines, and Jerry Gradle for the awesome thing. And, we're going to have a great year. And, like I said, the week's just getting started here, so we're going to go celebrate tonight. We got one more today, so hopefully we go 2 for 2 today.
I was going to say, Go have a soda and go celebrate as a 14-year-old winner here in the Tour Type Mods.
Too young to have a beer, so we'll just go drink some apple juice instead.
Wow. Hartwig, an impressive victory, holds off one of the best in World Series, Ron Silk, over the final laps. Ryan Preece also was out there with him battling. He passed Preece for the second spot early on in the race. Austin